Hey Micah, glad you came by again. You always come up with some interesting questions for me. I do enjoy these sessions. Have you got a question today?
Yeah, I have something that's been puzzling me a lot lately. And I was wondering, why does God allow bad things to happen to people?
Oh Micah, you've come up with some dillies. I gotta tell you, this is one of the biggest challenges for Christians. So it's a very good question. I gotta tell you, Micah, it's all too easy to blame God. People talk about, for example, the millions of people are starving in this world. Why does God allow that to happen? Well, I gotta tell you, our planet they just turned 7 billion. We have 7 billion people on this earth. And there's enough food provided by the planet to feed that number of people. The problems are created by the fact that we selfishly exploit and mismanage and pollute the earth. So really we can't blame God for the starvation that so many people face. So that's one thing we need to bear in mind. But as a Christian, I believe the real answer to that is in the first few chapters of Genesis. Because what we discover there is that we began as humans to make poor choices. And when we make poor choices, we have to suffer the consequences of those decisions. You see, we humans were created in a special way by God. We were given a great gift of free will. We were given the ability to make choices because, God didn't want robots any more than I would want a robotic grandson. If you were programmed so that you could only do what I wanted you to do, you didn't have a choice, you just had to do what pleased me, that wouldn't be very good. You have choices. In fact, let me check out your choices. I know I found out last time you liked chocolate, so it's about time I gave Micah a treat. So there you go. Look at that lovely box of chocolates, milk chocolates. But there's $20. Now, since you're a good lad, Micah, I'm going to offer you a choice of either $20 or a box of chocolates. You can only have one. What do you want? He's a wise boy. I guess you figured out you could buy more than one box of chocolates for $20. But the point, it was nice to have the choice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what's great about being human. You see, we have to remember that God created human beings with a free will and a choice. And of course, what does that do? It opens the door to the possibility of wrong choices, of us choosing evil rather than good, and if we do that, we suffer as a consequence. And that's basically the story at the beginning of the Bible. When I think about it, the overwhelming majority of bad things that happen are because of our choice to not go the way God wanted us to go. And I think that's the basic tragedy. If God had wanted robotic creatures, he wouldn't have made us human. We wouldn't be human. It's like the difference between art. You remember the old Star Wars movies? Oh, they're not old. They still run them, I guess. R2-D2. He's a robot. What God preferred was a Ben Kenobi with choices to make rather than a robot like R2-D2. And the consequences of that is, of course, that we could make choice. Because you've got to remember this, God's our creator, but God's not our controller. And people forget that actually God allows his laws to be broken. He allows his love to be spurned. He allows us actually to do things that are not what he wants. Like you do some stuff I don't like you doing, but hey, you've got the choice. And if we are going to prevent all evil and all suffering and all difficulty, you've got to remove freedom. And if we do that, we wouldn't be human. Being human is to be as God made us. Now, don't think that means God's not interested in justice or right. You see, we haven't seen the end of the story yet. Well, you've got to remember, I know it's hard to understand now, but justice delayed is not justice denied. That's what I like about the Bible. It begins to tell us the end of the story. Well, there's a lot more to say about that. Just remember, we haven't seen the end of the story yet. So that's it, Micah. The best I can do for the moment. So what did you learn today from Granddad?
That God doesn't want bad things to happen to people, but they do because of the way we misuse our freedom.
Hey, you got it. That's at least a start to a very tricky question. Good question, Micah. Thanks.